used to think years ago that this job could not get more depressing, and this year is just taking the cake as I'm following the chair of the education committee who just compared public schools to McDonald's, saying it's not a healthy option for kids, this and that. My colleagues, while probably well-intentioned, are revealing a really fundamental misunderstanding of economics. And I think one basic misunderstanding of economics is that people see a tax credit as, quote, getting to keep their own money, unquote. They see getting a tax credit as getting to keep their own money as opposed to what it is, which is a gift from the government that comes at the cost of public goods like schools. It's a lack of understanding of basic principles, painfully obvious basic principles about incentives and accounting. And there's some economic sleight of hand going on here. The tax credit implies that dollar for dollar, donations to private schools will come out of public funds, which means public education. So if someone who is spending, who's giving $5,000 to a private school, if they're then giving a $5,000 tax credit, that means that taxpayers are spending $5,000 on private schools. That $5,000 is coming out of the budget for public schools, roads, bridges, etc., all of that other stuff. So what are tax credits? When people donate, to use the same example, if someone donates $5,000 to a private school and they get a tax credit, then that individual is essentially deciding how $5,000 of taxpayer money is going to be spent, and that's on private schools. So what are tax credits for? We pass tax credits to incentivize behavior that we think is providing a public good. Like a tax credit to open a hospital or a tax credit to build a public university. And this is doing the opposite. What this bill is doing is incentivizing a private good. And yes, I think tax credits should be viewed with great skepticism because they're very expensive. It's rare that I will support a tax credit. And so when we do one, we have to make sure that it's going to a public good, something that benefits everybody. And private Catholic school does not benefit everybody. In fact, many of them are harmful on purpose as a matter of policy. Colleagues, this bill is not about rights. It's not about choice or access. This bill is about donations. This bill is about government incentivized donations. And it's not giving anybody rights or taking any rights away to say that we're not going to incentivize tax credits for donations to private schools. People are already free to donate to private schools. It's about giving money to rich people, as usual, using some poor people as nice marketing. Because we have to be clear to Nebraskans that what we're debating is not about the merits of private school. It's not about if you had a nice time at private school or you could pay for it or you got a scholarship or you actually really liked public school. None of those opinions actually matter to the content of this bill. What this is about is a taxpayer-funded tax credit to wealthy donors. Tax credits are a market distortion, period. Another market distortion here is in charitable giving. So for every dollar I give to a nonprofit art museum, I get $1 tax deduction. So my taxable income goes down $1. So the taxpayers lose about 30 cents on the dollar. With a tax credit, they lose the whole dollar. Now guess what? With LB753, we've got new prices in town. Now you make more money donating to a private school than you do to any other charity. If you donate $100 to a public school, you don't get a $100 tax credit. This is deliberate, and they are banking on people not understanding this economic stuff because only rich people need to understand this stuff. People are already free to donate to private schools with their own money. You just don't get the full refund now if you do that. Oh, but it's going to be really great for the poor kids. It's going to be really great for the black and brown kids, you say. Okay, great. Then go ahead and donate to them on your own. Oh, but I won't donate to the poor kids or the black and brown kids unless you give me back my money dollar for that donation. Well, guess what that sounds like? It sounds like you actually don't care about those kids. It sounds like you care about enriching your own wealth, which is what this bill is about. Thank you, Mr. President.